The Mining Indaba annually invites thousands of delegates globally to discuss the current and the future trends of the mining sector. Joining me right now is Simon Ford, Portfolio Director for the Mining Indaba. Welcome, thanks for joining me. I think I want to start off with to understand what has changed from the Mining Indaba 2020 to now.
Well, thank you very much for having me. Yeah, it's been a bit of a journey that we've been on over the last 2 years. We were last here back in February 2020. We're now here in May 2022. It's been a fantastic event so far. We've had over 6,500 delegates. We've had 3 heads of state from South Africa, Botswana, and Zambia. And we've also had the Prime Minister from the DRC and 40 government ministers as well. Some of the things that have changed, I think for us, is 3 new programs that we've brought into this year's Mining Indaba, which is the ESG Awards, which also ties into our theme. We've had the one-to-one mining investment group, which is now part of the Mining Indaba family, which is an event that happens on the outside of Indaba, but it means that we have the award-winning and world-leading products for all mining companies and investors for 1 week whilst we're here in Cape Town. And also we have another program, the Innovation and Research Battlefield as well, which has taken place for the first time this year. So we're just very, very happy to be back.
I'm glad you're touching on a theme a little bit, because the theme here is ESG, just transitioning, moving to a cleaner energy. Why the theme this year?
I think if you look back to last year from COP26, which was held back in the UK, some of the conversations and themes that came from that event has really stimulated and pushed over into the mining sector. If you're pushing towards an energy transition, globally you cannot achieve an energy transition without the African mining sector. And what is it now that investors are looking for? What are they really pushing for as they look to commit capital around the world, and especially here in Africa? And they want to make sure that ESG frameworks and guidelines are being followed. And when they're looking at the next cobalt, lithium, nickel projects that are all here in Southern Africa, they need to make sure that these ESG guidelines are really being thought about, they're being worked through, that there is a framework that is being used by all. And that's why it's such a key topic here this year for the Mining Indaba. It's something that mining companies and investors and governments need to work together to get right, to ensure that that is really driving the industry forward in the proper way.
Now, as I alluded to in the beginning, this is a platform that's welcomed thousands of delegates, governments, investors, mining corporations. What are some of the conversations in the meeting rooms that you're aware of? I know the heads of state had a meeting amongst themselves about the future of mining, the future of clean energy. Do you know of some of the conversations that aspired from that?
Well, I think, as I said before, we were really delighted that we had 3 of the heads of state and the Prime Minister. They were all on site yesterday, Tuesday, and they were all meeting together in a room before they came out on stage. And you heard some of the themes that came out from the Zambian president on Monday, where he's talking about a new dawn for Zambian mining, which is very much about how we stimulate investment, how do we get more international investment into Zambia, what do we do with our regulations and frameworks to be able to attract that. And also by looking at the people of Zambia, how they can ensure there's job creation, community empowerment. And those are the kind of themes that really transcended across all of the heads of state. They're all saying that the mining industry is extremely important, it's extremely critical to their countries. I think that was also the sentiment of President Ramaphosa's speech yesterday, to try and cut the red tape, to get people back into the mining sector and get investment back into the mining sector. And we heard from the DRC Prime Minister, who spoke after the South African President yesterday, who's also saying that during the conversations that they've been able to have on site here, that they're now talking about cross-border collaboration. What more can the countries in Southern Africa do together to share best practice and together drive more investment by making sure that they're all aligned in their policies and regulations, and that it's that attractive framework that you need for international investors.
And then finally, what I think I want to get from you is what were your expectations from this year's Mining Indaba, and what would the expectations be for the next one coming up?
Good question. I mean, for us, it's been quite a tricky process to be able to plan what this Mining Indaba could look like. in light of all the COVID restrictions and regulations that were in place. It has worked out. We've been able to bring people back together in significant numbers safely, which has been absolutely fantastic. So I think if we were looking at the expectations a few months ago, it's very different to what we've been able to achieve today. So maybe where we thought we could get 3,000 to 4,000 delegates, we've been fortunate enough to have 6,500 delegates here across the week. For the next Indaba in 2023, we certainly want to do more to look after the three core customer groups that we have here, which are the mining companies, investors and governments. So developing and enhancing the programs that we already have and introducing new programs to make sure that we continue to service those groups.
Thank you so much for your time. That was Simon Ford, Portfolio Director for the African Mining Indaba.